Pokey Loan. What up?
Even your mama like it.
These are the words that I manifest, but I digress. A Rubik's Cube might look simple, but it's very complex. Mannerism might come off arrogant, but that's obnoxious. Intelligence mixed with grit, I just call that confidence. You smell that kush, that means that Pokey-Lo is in the building. We take these instrumentals and turn them into ghetto visuals. I heard success is based on dollars, who's been in my wallet? But I found a way to make a living, so that statement preposterous. And in the middle of writing this verse, my cousin lost a brother. Sat part, I'm 3,000 miles away and I can't even hug her. Traumatic experience tends to make a person cherish their loved ones. Reading me an enigma, how ironic, a paradox conundrum. The other day I shed a tear, looked in the eyes of my daughter, cause she's my motivation, I dare anyone try to harm her. It's far from a slick talker, that's just me being a father. And the only thing I ask is when you meet me, give me all my poppers. Put this brick wall in front of me, but I can't lose. Just the beginning of my journey, the interlude. My struggles are temporary, fight till the day I'm buried. Too much to live for, I won't, no that's not necessary. Plus all this pain I've been through, stay true to myself so I knew any hurdle in my way, no choice but to run this race. My journey, my story, my struggle, take nothing for granted, stay humble. So please don't stress me or no that's not necessary. These are the words that I manifest, but I digress. Food for thought never ingest more than you can digest. We all struggle, some just have it harder than the next. We all hustle, some just do without seeing a check. What's simple to you can be another man's Sudoku puzzle. And unless you got your numbers in order, that's just part of the struggle. And I can go on for days talking about the New World Order, but the government will rather dog me out and throw in a muzzle. You stand for nothing, gonna fall into a bottomless pit. Worse than live or die by based on how you look at it. So when I'm stressed, I take this pen and pad and jot a bit. That's therapy and honestly, I don't like getting pissed. Sometimes life throws a knuckleball and gets a little tricky. Just know it's easy to step to the plate and face Robert Dickey. Gotta find a way to move about in life from day to day. So when the pressure's way, better find another way.
When men change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When men change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When God created man in his image, he gave the power and authority to him. Because we've been raised by women, they know not what they do, keeping man away from God. And until man realizes that he has that woman nature that has been imposed upon him by mama. He has that woman nature that has been imposed upon him by mama. He can repent. He can repent by forgiving. He can repent, and God will change his nature. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. Man. The power is in the man. The power is in the man. The power is in the man. God created man in his image. He gave the power and authority to him. Because we've been raised by women, they know not what they do, keeping man away from God. And until man realizes that he has that woman nature that has been imposed upon him by mama. He has that woman nature that has been imposed upon him by mama. He can repent. He can repent by forgiving. He can repent, and God will change his nature. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. When man change, then our family will change, and our community will change. The power is in the man. Man. The power is in the man. The power is in the man. The power is in the man.
Y'all can go down there and get a driver's license, right? I was looking at cars the other day. Riding down the road, watching different cars driving the automobiles. And they're all girly cars. Where are the men cars? These little soft cars, you press a button, the door open. Ain't no zoom cars. Nope, no manly cars. Nope, no manly cars. They don't make them now where you want to jump into them and just race with someone. Be a man. No manly cars. 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 I have a couple of friends who have those hybrid cars. Those things so quiet, you don't even know the motor is on. Beta. Who want a car like that? Like that? Like that? Who want a car like that? Like that? Like that? Little quiet cars, mommy cars. You drive up to the house, they don't even know you're there. Ain't no zoom cars. No manly 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 cars. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. People showing up to the stream. Very nice. Very cool. I appreciate you being here on this fine, wonderful, right? A fine Tuesday it is, no? It's a fine Tuesday, and it is an absolute pleasure to be back with you, okay? Got some things I want to get into. Got a bit of a show for you. And as we do here, we're sitting in the chair. You know what that means. That means if you want to call the anchor baby, you want to get on hold, you got something to say, you got problems, you got nothing to say, you got we're gonna try and move the wheels, but hey, maybe you got nothing to say. You want to jump on the line, 888-775-3773. Maybe maybe have a little something to say. But I appreciate it if you call in 888-775-3773. You could call in. I'm streaming right now live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola, and of course, punchy.tv, punchie.tv. Don't forget it. Save that. Excuse me. But we are live on those platforms. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Knit's mama, a border jumper? What, is this the first time you heard the intro? What do you think Anchor Baby means? Hey, very nice. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the network and all that, okay? And I'll try to hold off on berating you too much, just too early. It might be a little too early, you know. You come in and already I'm yelling at you. You come in, you're like, hey, what's this party like? And already I'm yelling at you. And so you still don't click the like. You don't click the like button. This guy's yelling at me. I barely sat down. All right, sorry. Maybe I'm the one who needs to have some decorum, some manners. You know, one of the earliest things we get taught, no, don't judge. Don't judge others. Don't just judge someone. So I'm going to wait. You as the rude people file in and take off their shoes. They ask for the aux cord. We'll get to you guys. But at least come in and say hello. Say hello. Leave a little hello in the chat. We're live right now. Look at all these lovely people. Yes, it's the snake pit. But I imagine some of them are good people, right? So say hello. Show that you weren't raised in a barn. We'll get to you later, okay? We'll get to you later. Say hello. This party stinks. What the? We'll get to you. We'll get to you people later. We'll get to you. But first, is that everything? But first, hold on. Hold on. Let's let the brain. But first, let's get into this. We'll get to all of you people later, okay? 888-775-3773. But first, a woman was fatally shot by a Virginia police officer after slashing his face with a knife during a welfare check. And of course, Black Lives Matter and the activist heroes are ready to tear up the city in search of justice for the dead at the hands of racism, tearing up the city. Like, there's the justice. We're looking for justice, folks. Actually, it's not exactly quite like it seems, to be fair. It's not exactly quite like it seems. And maybe some of you already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a individual. Her name. Say her name. Is does your name remain? Do you still own your name once you lose your corporeal form? Is your name still yours? Is there neither marriage? Is there, as the same way there's no marriage in heaven, is there neither marriage nor names? I don't know. I never read that part in the Bible, but who is Sydney Wilson is the name I'm talking about. Who is Sydney Wilson? Sydney Wilson, you may have seen the video. You may know exactly what I'm talking about. You may have seen some of the outrage. But we are going to Virginia for this one. And it was September 16th at around 10 a.m. when 14-year veteran Fairfax County police officer Peter Liu, there's already a detail a little bit different than usual. Peter Liu, sounds Asian, responded to the 1800 block of Sunrise Valley Drive at around 10 a.m. after a mental health counselor asked police to conduct a welfare check on Sydney Wilson, who they reported to be in an agitated state. Mental health counselor, I imagine hers, brought her agitated state to the attention of police officers who Officer Liu arrived to conduct a wellness check, okay? So what's got people talking about it? Basically, Fairfax County Police released the body cam footage of this incident yesterday, Monday. And it's not footage I'm going to show you. I'm not going to go through this footage, okay? At least not a significant portion of it at all. And look, it's footage that is everywhere by now. It's online. If you want to find it for yourself, you can go find it for yourself. If you so choose to actively seek such violent images. I need to see it. I need to see it. Wow. Don't you know? You're not equipped. You're not equipped for all these things. I'm your navigator, okay? I'm like your guild navigator, navigating through the chaos, like just going crazy, but just at the edge of insanity, while I consume the content for you and navigate it out. I'm the only one I'm one of the few qualified for this, okay? So, I mean, if you really want to go out and seek this violent content, add it into your spirit. I mean, look at all the spirits you have in you. You're just not equipped, okay? So, I'm your navigator. I guess if you really want to look up the footage, we're not going to be doing that. The shooting, was it a justified shoot? Was it a justified shooting? I won't show you. Let me see. Let's pull this up. I won't show you the footage, but here is one screen grab, one image of the footage that in many ways describes in an image the situation that unfolded. Okay, that's a Sydney Wilson in a little still from the footage. Okay, and yeah, as you can see, the officer holding the gun. She's got the knife in her hands and a contorted face of anger. Okay, and in the footage, the officer is trying to make contact with Sydney and is seen waiting outside of her door. Video starts. You can hear loud rap music playing, which you, as the viewer, you end up realizing the music is seemingly coming from the other side of the door where Sydney Wilson is, okay? So the door opens. Suddenly the door opens, okay? This is all the perspective of the body cam. And out comes Sydney Wilson in a bathrobe. And she says, "How are you?" And while she's saying, "How are you?" she reaches out with a knife and slashes the officer in the face, okay? And Officer Lou, at this point, backs up and pleads with Sydney to stay back, but she keeps advancing. She just keeps advancing. You know, there's even a moment of hesitation, take some steps back. And like I said, I'm your navigator, okay? I'm always navigating these forces of chaos on the cusp of insanity for you. And I've seen a lot of film, okay? I watch film, okay? Some of you guys watch film. And I've seen that a lot. People who with a knife ready to basically commit suicide by cop or whatever, or they're insane, or there's this moment where they take a few steps back and you can almost see in their faces the moment Satan says in their mind, "Charge, keep going. No, don't back up." But anyways. Yeah, so she advances, doesn't stop, getting close, actually manages to get close enough again to try and stab him again, swipes at him, may have even hurt him. At that point, the officer starts shooting her, and in a pretty messy scuffle, which could have seen him, getting more injured, just how close he let her get to him again. He's actually able to create some distance, shoots Sydney enough times that she collapses from her injuries. And afterwards, you see Officer Lou. He picks up his radio and starts calling stuff in as the camera catches blood dripping from his hands and off what you have to assume is his head or wherever he was stabbed, okay? Pretty messed up moment. And Sydney Wilson did not survive this, okay? Pretty messed up stuff. He's just showing up to a call, right? Horrible stuff. And the officer, you watch this and The only thing I can conclude is the officer's clearly justified from the footage. It's not even a question, you know. 6 feet, possibly over 6 feet, this lady. Possibly over, 6'5" maybe. Pretty tall, pretty big woman. And look, all these reports that this person is transgender, okay, I can't find anything about that. I saw one India Times report, the India Times or something like that, that mentioned something about being trans. I can't corroborate that. I can't see any evidence of this. So that's just a rumor. I cannot see any evidence of this besides India Times or something like that. Very, very credible. The outrage. So trans, I don't think so. Justified? Absolutely. It's just clear. So get this, the outrage. Where's the outrage? I mentioned BLM. Could you imagine? Really? Is it really gonna go down like that? Black Lives Matter, activists getting involved. Look, you're getting public responses, even from the post where I got this from. The person who posted this, they're like the racist. And I don't believe in racism. I don't think it exists. But I'm just saying, other people would call this account one of the racists, okay? And even under the posts of one of the racists, oh no. There's people with this sort of talk. Self-defense, but shouldn't the cops have tasers for that kind of situation? I saw a couple other posts like that. Did they really have to kill her? Did they really? Could just take out the taser, man. In this video, she's getting close enough to stab him. Closes the distance between her and the officer pretty quickly, but also the officer is, you can see in the video, he's holding back or something, pleading like, stop, don't, I'm going to kill you. I'm basically going to shoot you. And she doesn't stop. If anything, I'd say that he should have shot earlier. He let her get way too close. With a knife like that, that could have been the end of his life, okay? But okay, so that's maybe some public responses. It really wasn't much of that, though. Not a lot of people outraged, say like, oh, you should have done this or that. Okay, so maybe that wasn't much, but look at this. Georgetown women's basketball. Now, who's this? Georgetown women's basketball. Okay. Georgetown University, right? Washington, D.C. or whatever. Apparently, this Sydney Wilson is what they call a Hoya. Hoya, I think, is apparently it's what you call members of the Georgetown women's basketball team. And they posted, Georgetown women's basketball mourns the tragic loss of Sydney Wilson. Forever a Hoya. The tragic loss, here she is. Georgetown women's basketball, Sydney Wilson. There she is. Sydney. And they're going around saying, the tragic loss? They're really gonna do the tragic loss thing? What are these people? A bunch of basically Black Lives Matter activists? Is that what we're supposed to gather from this? They're not gonna even mention that she tried to stab a police officer? And you read this post actually got community notes. On X.com, they have these people, the council, and it's fine. They add context to posts that they deem needs it, okay? They make it clear here that Sydney Wilson was fatally shot after attempting to stab a police officer in Fairfax County, Virginia. Just a little, just in case you readers looking at this post are wondering, what was this tragic loss? Oh, well, there you go. So what? Georgetown's women's basketball, they're honoring, what are they? They hate the cops? What do they hate? White people? They hate America? What's up with these people? But that's not actually quite the whole story. In fact, that actually might be a little unfair. Georgetown women's basketball in this post. and other things, okay? That's actually not test. Whoa. Test. Suddenly my mic. Hey, am I coming in clear? Test. Okay. Sounds fine now. A little scratchiness. So that's not quite the full story. It's actually, no, I don't think it's actually fair to go around calling Georgetown women's basketball a bunch of activists over this story, because this post was shared on X on September 20th. This was just a few days following the shooting, several weeks before the footage was made public, okay? So a little bit of the timeline there. Mere days after what had happened, no footage released. You gotta take it in. It's quite believable. They had no idea. Because when you see the footage, it's so obvious. The comments, everybody's looking at it. Black people are looking at this footage and they seemingly, no contest here. This woman tried to stab a police officer. In fact, the original post I got this from, if I may show you, the original post that showed this to me actually mentions something about BLM outrage. Look, it reads, BLM claimed that Sidney Wilson was unjustly killed by racist cops. Here's the body cam footage. Judge for yourself. And we're not necessarily going to watch that. You can find out for yourself. You know, in fact, I saw this from a couple of right-wing accounts. BLM outrage. The truth is I can't find anything about BLM getting outraged over this. In fact, it's pretty hard, actually. It's hard to find any outrage about this one at all, to be quite honest. And every post I see about this story, it's comment after comment about how this shooting was justified. And then like a whole bunch of comments saying, watch how BLM or whatever are going to go nuts. And look, you know, people are angry and hateful. So I really wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, but public opinion seems pretty reasonable on this one. I'm just saying I can't really find any of this outrage being talked about. And I wouldn't put it past it being true, considering all the times the public was outraged and up in arms over things they did not understand, even in situations where videos were out. Who was that guy? That guy who got beat up by cops, and the cops were black, but he ended up either being very severely injured, may have even died. I think it was that Tyree Nichols or whatever. That's just one comes to mind. But literally every single major story with the blacks and with black people and cops and outrage, literally every single one hasn't been clear. It hasn't been clear that this racism and this injustice was done unto these people. I've yet to find one. But yeah, public opinion seems pretty reasonable on this one. And honestly, here's the thing: is that people just don't care. I don't think people care. Look, you think white people care? White people don't care. Nowadays, you have to have like a really good video. You have to have a really good video to get people going. You know, you had your civil rights. You had like a bunch of moments in mass media. But you're chasing the dragon at this point, okay? You're going to need a really good one, okay? In fact, you're going to need to top, like basically you're going to need something that tops a white cop with his knee on the neck of a black person. And even then, people are going to forget. Even then, people are going to forget right away. Even then, when the memorial and even when the area where a memorial is being had surrounding this individual eventually returns to violence between black people, killing each other, people will forget. They won't bat an eye. I mean, Donald Trump, there's been attempted assassinations on him, and A few days after that, a few days after fight, people went back to normal, pretty much forgot. The thrill was gone. The emotions were gone. So you really got to get something that really gets people going. You got to basically top that, okay? On to the next thing there'll be. See, here's the thing. Black people don't have a plight anymore. People are pretty much sick and tired of the forever civil rights movement. And the forever wars. And the forever civil rights movement. It's a forever war. And it keeps getting funded. It's crazy. Somebody stop this. People are pretty much sick of it. They really don't care. Any caring is posturing and self-preservation. Any caring, anything like that, it's either you're young or you're posturing and it's for self-preservation. Don't cancel me. I'm not a racist. It's amazing to see people's buttons on display. What gets them pressed? What gets them going? What buttons are available to the American public? What levers they show that you can mess with? Test. Am I coming? Yeah. Something changed in my ears. Like, here's the thing. You see this black anti-racism stuff. It really is only for black people. Well, it's really only for non-whites and young people. You have to be new. You have to be new. You have to be born yesterday in this world at this point to still think that black people are suffering mainly and largely from racism. I mean, that's why you got to get the young people vote out, right? That's why you got to let everybody vote. Let everybody, your vote, it's your right to vote. It's your right. Everybody should vote. Everybody should. First you got to let the blacks, then the women. It's like everybody gets to vote. It's your right. It never was. At least it wasn't. It wasn't even every white man's right to vote. Think about that. It wasn't even every white man's right to vote. It was white landowners, people who own stuff, people with, some skin in the game, as they say. This racism propaganda stuff it's really only for black people to keep them in a state of anger and control. Think about it. Like, it's not really, it has an entirely different purpose and effect when heard by others. Mainly it's a way of inducing tension, right? Tension and pain, inflicting tension and pain. See, these are methods of control. You're installing buttons in people by increasing a tension and making people tense. You now have control over them because now you can ease the tension. Now you can ease the tension and make them feel relaxed. Now you got them. You make them feel up, down, and you control the whole framework, okay? It's amazing to see the efficiency of these lies, too, because their effect is twofold, if you notice. You see, you keep black people angry with lies, and these same lies, these same lies in turn anger other people, the whites, and then their anger then feeds back into the lies. Now you have a whole industry. You literally have a whole industry. Think about it. You have a whole grievance industry now, and the right wing is deeply involved in it too. See, all you got to do is post some black person being killed and say, "Look at Black Lives Matter, go nuts," and blah blah. You just say things, and then you get all the people clicking. Now they're clicking and they're mad. Now you got an industry. You got a genre of content in our society, and when you have a genre, it doesn't go away. It gets fed. It gets more money, more programming, more airtime, more clicks. Now you have a whole industry. It's like the pedophile stuff. Look at another video. I love this show. Oh, yeah, I love the show. When they beat up the pedophile, yeah. I hate pedophilia. I wish it was gone from my society. Oh, I love this channel. Guess what? It's not leaving your society. You love the channel. You love this channel. And look, I say this with an asterisk awareness. Like, I know that there's people just reporting news. I just can't help but comment on this relationship. And it's in the right wing as well. A genre of hate, blame, and victimhood. They got the race show on. I don't know. Look. Yeah, it's an amazing relationship there. And they don't care. Look, people don't care. This is like the racism stuff is now, it's just really for blacks, for the non-whites. That show's for y'all. But where was I? The black families and all this. You got 60 plus years of hate, blame, and victimhood. There's all sorts of thoughts and theories on what's going on. What's going on with the people? And look, I really don't want to hear the IQ argument. I can admit that I can say, I'm not here saying it's not real or something. I really don't know. I gather it is to some extent. But I don't want to hear this IQ argument until, you got 60 plus years, if not more, of blaming voting Democrat. You got to understand, voting Democrat over and over again. And what gets them to vote Democrat? Oh, caring about your color. And anger, just like piling on. You see how that person gets treated better than me because of race. And that person could be a very smart person. I've seen what I gather to be quite smart, intelligent people use this intelligence in a messed up way, and when they blame and do all that stuff. So it makes you stupid. I don't want to hear that argument until you deal with that part, right? It's like you're jumping the gun, trying to blame something that everyone has had a part to play in too, by the way. While those who are angry, black people in this case and others, and they have their grievances and blaming and victimhood, you got all the people who are afraid of saying the truth and dealing with all that. And then those people, some of them, or the children of those people, becoming angrier. Instead of dealing with that, they're like, that's actually too hard. That's too hard. That's too hard to tell the truth and go through the pain of having to say the truth and all that, of being called racist, being called whatever. Instead of doing that, that's too hard. No, they just have too low of an IQ. Okay, it's just. Anyways. I'm talking about individuals and your judgment. What should be done? I don't know. I'm just saying, why are you as an individual going straight to judgment and writing off someone when anger makes everybody evil and stupid? And look, black people, there's no sympathy left. There's no plight. There's no plight left. This plight was gone, apparently. I'm seeing even evidence of this. Decades ago. We're going back to 2003 for this one. 2003. I wonder if these words, these thoughts existed even before this video I'm going to play for you. 2003. Aaron McGruder. You know that name? Anybody watch Boondocks? I remember watching a whole bunch of Boondocks. I've seen it multiple times. I don't even know why. I saw it. I think I must have been growing up. I may have seen it something on Adult Swim or something like that. And the Boondocks style was very was interesting because it had this like anime manga style to it. It was a cartoon. Can we call it a cartoon? Is this a black anime? I mean, look, it has this style. You had this granddad. He was voiced by John Witherspoon. I was about to say Reese Witherspoon. That's the wrong Witherspoon. And look at me. I'm whistling like granddad. John Witherspoon, rest in peace, I believe. Voiced by, yeah. So, I've seen it so many times that at the time I was also young. over the years I watched it more, but at the time it's funny because I don't know. I didn't know back then that I would be so deeply affected and influenced by black people and their culture, etc. I'm joking around because people say, due to, depends on who knows me. Due to certain things I say and things I like, they'll say I'm black for that reason. And depends on who knows me, they'll say, I can be pretty ghetto, but whatever. That's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. It has to do with single moms and all that. Look, we're moving on from that, but that's just a joke. I'm not even the blackest one at Bond anymore. Okay? I'm willing to give up the title. Look, I'm messing around, but I did watch a bunch of Boondocks, and I didn't know that I would find Jesse Lee Peterson, for example. I didn't know that seeing that I would see almost if not exactly what is going on in the black family with the mothers raising the sons, with turning them away from the fathers, pushing fathers away while society blames deadbeat dads and all that. I didn't know that I was going to see in black people exactly what was going on within me, my family. I didn't know that they were going to teach me so much, that they were going to show me so much about myself when I was watching Boondocks. So very cool. Aaron Magruder, here's a little clip. 2003, check this out. And I see calls coming in, by the way. Thank you so much. 888-775-3773. The plight of the black people. It's gone, man. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long time. This is 2003. It's been almost 20 years. Wait, no. It's been more than 20 years since. What the heck is going on? Aaron Magruder, were you seeing the future? Oh, wait. Let me unmute it. Let me unmute. Aaron Magruder, were you seeing the future?
I really want you guys to understand that time is running out. And a lot of black people say that, but for real. Part of why the civil rights movement has been so successful, and part of why those who have come after in terms of our leadership have been able to maintain a presence, is that black people have always had a certain amount of moral currency that we have been using. And let me be the first to tell you, that's used up. White America has been watching us act like fools for a long enough time where any sympathy they may have had to our plight is completely gone. You're approaching a country that, forget hating black people or not hating black people, they just don't care. You can be talking about affirmative action, they can be like, I don't care. It literally is of no importance to me. I don't care about slavery, I don't care about segregation, I don't care about you, I don't care how many of you all go to jail, I don't care at all, because I'm broke. You can't be the proud, noble fighter when every single time someone sees a person that looks like you on television, they're acting like a damn fool. How would they know? How would they know you're not a damn fool?
He got a lot of hate over this, okay? And he's talking to, I believe, like a school. I believe he's talking to a bunch of young black individuals in this room who are listening attentively. Some faces contorting a bit when you see, he was here talking to those youngins with, he was alongside Cornel West of all people. Cornel West. I mean, all my impressions of this Cornel West guy, he's just another guy. He's like into the racism thing. He's like a failed race hustler, although he's, nah, that's not fair. I'm calling it failed because my impression is he's not or wasn't as big as like maybe J.C. Jackson or Al Sharpton. But I also get a different sort of impression where he's whatever. My impression is not important. Cornel West, he's talking beside Cornel West. Aaron Magruder even sounds like he's making sense, right? And of course, what he said in this clip is just absolutely true. The guy is coming from essentially coming from this viewpoint that civil rights was good and necessary. Aaron Magruder does have that bend, that worldview, and basically believes in racism. Okay, so imagine that the racism guy, the racism black guy from 2000 is sounding like totally based and reasonable today. But make no mistake, he's pretty much into all that. He had a very interesting talk on image and appearance. There's a wisdom to understanding what image people have of you. But he's basically angry, though. Look, even Cornel West had made some sense there. He mentioned R. Kelly. He mentions R. Kelly and he makes this like point about not judging R. Kelly of all the things we do, and you could still appreciate the man is very creative, etc. Like, seemed like a pretty level-headed thing. Cornel West, he must have been raised by even older black people. I mean, he had black parents, right? I'm sure he had to have parents of and he even talks about it, by the way. He even mentions it about being raised right, how he grew up watched by various people. If it wasn't his parents, it was the school teacher, it was the shop guy, the shopkeep down the road, it was your friend's parents. They all kept an eye on you, and they talked to each other about what was happening. They kept an eye on you, right? And so family, community. So even the older Cornel West, drawing from maybe an even older source of wisdom. Some people don't even believe Jesse Lee Peterson when he says that black people were decent, owned stuff, were working for their own, making businesses and all that. At one point, they don't even believe that. But anger gets passed down, and you see how every generation gets dumber. So that's that on that. 888-775-3773. Call me back there if you'd like to talk. Yeah, tell me what you think. Grievance industry, everyone's getting a little piece. Nobody wants to see they're the same. They are that the problems in not only that, the problems in the black people that you can't talk about, which is crazy, which is not love, it's not showing them love, they're getting worse. That everybody has it. Their families, their people, whatever, are getting dumber with the same anger. It's crazy to see. It's crazy. 888-775-3773. Here's a little insanity. Speaking of all this black stuff, I love the Boondocks. I'm trying to get an Uncle Ruckus and a John Witherspoon impression down. The savagery of the Negro is voiced in the wild. Look at this guy. Maybe you saw this video go around.
Mr. Blake, you're charged with possession of marijuana. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent.
Defendant crossed unauthorized crossing point from convenience store to apartment complex.
Wait. He did what?
He crossed an unauthorized crossing point. So I guess he crossed the street.
Is he jaywalking?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
Walking while black.
A PC search was conducted and the officer observed a large sack of marijuana.
I don't think so. Walking while black. I don't think so. I'm going to find no probable cause.
Yes,
Mr. Blake, be careful, man. The world is against you. Don't let him be. Do something with your life. You know what I mean? The more you just, come on, man. All right, I'm going to have you just take a seat back, all right? Hang tight.
He's trying to help him, I guess. But how's that helping, Judge, whatever your name is? What kind of judge are you? Walking while black? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Now, I don't know the deets. Maybe, yeah, I don't know the deets. But to assume, it was just walking while black, it was just a little pot. A little pot isn't always just a little pot. A little pot could be dealing, and then this person's also involved in other things. It's not always just a little pot. And he's telling him, he's trying to help him. But he gives him a poison pill. He poisons the well of this young black individual who could just like all people repent and turn their life around, you can. He says to him, he poisons the well, gives him a poison pill. The poison is hate, if you didn't know. And he tells him, the world is against you. Do something with your life, man. The world is against you. That's an oxymoron. You can't have those two things, Judge. Don't you know this? Don't you know this? You can't think the world is against you and make something of your life. Impossible. And do something with your life. No. The life is against you. So, what the heck? What kind of judge is this? You know, this whole walking while black thing, you know, you'll hear that explanation like, oh, not probable cause. And some people will hear that and say, well, the officer had no right. But I'm okay with profiling. Profiling makes perfect sense to me, okay? You got to profile. Profiling is good, especially with the police officers. You know, they use these rules and tactics like on crossing at a, you know, that's a crime, you know. We're going to use that to then search him and find more crimes, etc. This judge is fighting that, saying it's not probable cause. But the only reason police even have to do that is because they're trying to get around this stupid rule that you can't profile at the crux of it all. Profiling is good. I say profiling. You got to profile. Okay? I mean, like, you guys want to be like the Indians? The First Nations, as they call them in Canada. You guys really want to be like the Indians? In a reservation. Oh, they get all sorts of stuff. They get stuff and freebies and tax breaks. They get all sorts of stuff. It's all because of the historic. You really want to be like the Indians? The world's against you. What about the whites? You guys want to be like the blacks? You know, some don't think it's even possible. Some don't think it's even possible. They'll be like IQ. They'll say IQ. Now, there may be IQ differences. In fact, there may be IQ differences. But I'm not sure you really want to take a chance with evil like that. You really think you're smarter than you can outsmart the devil? You really want to take that chance? Some people don't think it's possible that whites can degenerate to a low level. I'm hearing this judge is Jewish. Okay, all right. Anyway, whatever. Jews can adopt this horrible, evil mentality as well. Okay, it's not a look. It's for anybody. They see themselves as a victim. Some people, the same way. You know, I read somewhere. I saw this post recently. It was some person online. You know, these people online, they don't speak it for everyone. But I just want to make this point. They were making this point how they were saying, when we say we hate Goyim, it's like when blacks say we hate white people. We're not saying we hate all black people. It's just a phrase to get you to think, well, how can we be better? What are we doing to them that's causing them pain? So that when we say we hate, you know, so whatever, like this hateful mentality can be in all people. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? Then they have the nerve to turn around and say things are anti-Semitic, like, or you can't say the N-word. Like, what? You can't say, what do you mean you can't say N-word passes for all Americans. To have a word that you can hold over your white brothers is destroying the union. Even if it's a shallow union, it's all we got. It's all we have. But anyways, okay, 888-775-3773. Where was I here? 888-775-3773. Thank you so much for the super chats. Let's do these real quick. I got something else for you. Wow. Lin Yan Chin, thank you. Back to back says, oh yeah. And I meant to check out your message. You said 55-second message. Allow me to check it out. We'll play it, okay, Lin Yan Chin. But let me read these super chats. reads, you know you can tweak gene expression through use of kinesiology? Really? So, like, working out a certain way can tweak gene expression? Through strain on structure and its boundaries of motion in what you call exercise, to be precise. Well, I know that you can cause tissue to grow by applying a constant and even pressure, like a pulling of skin. It causes, over time, you can actually grow tissue. Look, I'm just telling you the facts, okay? I'm just telling you the facts. Tissue, you got it all over you, okay? But I don't know if does that change. What's gene expression? How are you talking about it, Lin Yan Chin? What kind of gene expressions have you tweaked? Lin Yan Chin says, through such mastery is where diaphragm control leads you to feel every move in relation to breath. It's exhale to be exact, in contraction through musculoskeletal alignment of optimal density. Right on. That might help somebody. Appreciate that, Lin Yan Chin. Very nice. Let's see here. I think that's all for now. What's up, Rumble? Appreciate the support. A D Live. You as well. All right. 888-775-3773. Speaking of controversies and black people, this fried chicken controversy, we're going to get into it here. This fried chicken controversy, it has to end, okay? It has to end. You can't say the end. A race of people can hold a word against everybody else, and should they say it, even accidentally as a joke or in private, and that information becomes public, you can beat them to an inch of their life, and the crowd will say, "Oh, he deserved it because you said the taboo word." How can such a thing exist in America? How can such a thing exist in a free country where we're supposed to be a union? With that same thinking in mind, how can such ignorance exist around the fried chicken question? Okay? Fried chicken is all controversial. Oh, you can't say black people eat fried chicken. You can't see that. You can't say that. Why? Why, apparition? Why are you not allowed to say black people eat fried chicken? Well, that's racist because, they like fried chicken. You can't do that. But they like fried chicken? What's the controversy? Look, the fried chicken controversy has to end. Everyone loves fried chicken. Every race makes fried chicken. Literally everybody makes fried chicken. Japanese, the Korean, the Chinese, Southern whites. Everybody makes and loves fried chicken. What is this? You guys that demoralized and degenerated? Everybody knows this. Everybody loves fried chicken, okay? Oh, no. Everybody loves it, okay? Look at this friggin' absolute master of frying the bird.
You know we're about to get ready to baptize us.
You know when you have a giant metal, what shall we call this, chat? A dipping implement to dip copious amounts of breaded protein to turn it golden and delicious. Golden, brown, and delicious. Well, you know when you have an implement such as this in your backyard that you know how to fry chicken.
Inside that grease. Plenty of chicken loaded up. All right, got to baptize that chicken.
Baptize
Season
it
to perfection. Watch it hit that grease. You want to roll and watch this right there.
That grease.
A baptism. Look at that right there. That's how
right
you
there.
want it right there. On a been 2 minutes. I promise you it's golden brown.
Incredible.
Watch this real quick. Watch this. Look at that color on there.
Who does not love this? Who does not tell me what?
Down for another.
It's like saying you don't like ice cream. Okay, maybe you don't want. Maybe you'd rather eat something else. But no. Okay, I'm messing around.
7 minutes, we're gonna drop the next batch. And they ready. Look at them. Crispy.
Literally, my whole chat is salivating. Okay.
Juicy on the inside. Seasoned to perfection. I'll see you on batch number 2.
Incredible stuff, okay? An expert, but that's not all. No. That is not even close to the whole story.
We usually think of fried chicken as, well, traditionally an American dish.
Fried chicken? Fried chicken and someone in this getup? No. It's impossible, right? You must be thinking to yourself.
But today I'm going to share with you an Old English recipe from 1736 that I think will change the way you make fried chicken. Thanks for joining us today.
18th century? What year did he just say?
I think we'll do an Old English recipe from 1736.
Oh, 1736. Okay, that still may have been influenced by blacks, right? That's after 1619, right?
That I think will change the way you make fried chicken. Thanks for joining us today on 18th Century Cooking.
18th century fried chicken by white people? Yes. This controversy has to end. Don't be so ignorant. This controversy must end. In fact, he's talking about a recipe in this video by a Nathaniel Bailey. Look at this guy. Well, I guess we can't tell. Maybe this person was black. But I gather, no, I'm messing around. The person who wrote this cookbook, the Dictionary Diamaticisis or something like that, Nathaniel Bailey, one of the earliest recipes for fried chicken, Old English. But that doesn't stop there. The Romans.
Leek branch, dill, coriander, pepper, salt, a spice called saturated.
And I see your calls. I'm going to get right to you. Don't go anywhere. 888-775-3773.
And a little defritum, a Roman take on grape syrup. The chicken was fried in oil and liquamen and seasoned with saturated, dill, coriander, and leek. It was then transferred to an equivalent of today's oven and cooked for another hour. Once ready, the chicken would be served over defritum and sprinkled with salt and pepper.
Okay, and this is the kicker. In America, you talk about, the South, fried chicken. You look it up, Wikipedia says, fried chicken has its origins in slavery. But what are those origins? Turns out, if you ask some people, it was the Scottish, they brought fried chicken to the South.
Although fried chicken is commonly associated with Southern cuisine, numerous historians assert that the recipe for the poultry dish arrived in the U.S. with Scottish immigrants during the 18th century. While most European countries at the time had a tradition of baking or boiling chicken, the Scots had been deep frying poultry in fat since the Middle Ages.
So, yeah, the Scots are the true black people. There you go. You heard it here first. First-class education. Turns out it was the Scots. The Scots are not only
a
are they
rich
the
infusion
true
of
blacks,
aromatic spices.
the true blacks. They brought fried chicken to the South.
Like paprika, cayenne pepper, and garlic, when combined with the intense heat and sizzle of the frying process, produced a symphony of flavors and textures. This perfect balance
Is this AI? What is this?
of elements elevated fried chicken from a simple dish to a beloved American classic. Although fried chicken already became a common and well-integrated dish in Southern cuisine even before the U.S. Civil War, it held deeper
I think this is AI. What is this?
significance for the African-American slaves. For them, preparing and eating fried chicken was more than just a way to nourish themselves. It represented an act of personal independence and subtle defiance against their oppressive circumstances. Despite the severe restrictions on slaves, many slaves in America, chickens held divine significance, these spiritual practices with them to the Americas. In the southern U.S., African Americans turned to fried chicken as their preferred dish for communal meals after church or when the pastor visited a congregant's home for dinner. As the esteemed guest, the pastor was served first and given the choicest parts of the chicken, typically the breast.
I heard about this. This might be true.
Which were referred to as preacher's parts until
the preacher's parts. You're giving Ma, Why are you giving the preacher that part of the chicken? It's the good part. It's making me think of Jesse Lee Peterson. Have you followed Jesse Lee Peterson on TikTok yet? TikTok.com. At JLP Talk on TikTok. Have you followed Jesse Lee Peterson on TikTok yet?
I remember once every month or so, the preacher would come to my house after church, and my grandparents would serve him dinner. And one of the reasons I didn't like for the preacher to come over because he always took the best part of the chicken.
The preacher's part.
Like, why are you giving the preacher the best part of the chicken? My grandmother said, well, you're the preacher.
Jesse Lee Peterson on TikTok. Follow him. Yeah, I actually heard about that. Huh? Interesting. But that's enough about fried chicken. I know y'all are hungry. I want to get to a call, and then we'll move on. Appreciate that, folks. Okay. 888-775-3773. Let's get to this caller, but first, have you been enjoying the show so far? You're sitting back, you're kicking it back, you're eating fried chicken. You're like, hey, when's the chicken coming up? You're like, pass me the aux cord. This music sucks. You're changing the channel. You're yelling out. You're making jokes. You're loving it, though. You're having a grand old time. You're even like talking crap a little bit. You're like watching and but talking crap like, what is this guy? But you're loving every minute. You're getting the thrill. You're at least thrilled. You're arguing with people in the chat in the home, and you're having a big old thrill. Maybe you don't even like what you're watching, but you're enjoying yourself. You got your feet up. You're kicking it back, and you won't even click the like button. You refuse to click the like button. You've been in here this whole time. We're almost an hour in, and you've yet to click the like button. Were you raised in a home of no consequences? Rude. No decorum. Obviously raised. No home trading. Or you must have had no parents. What's your mother going to think? What's your mother going to think? She did. So she did nothing. And you won't even click the like button. You won't even click the like button. How so rude. Okay, maybe you don't like what you're seeing. Okay, fine. You don't have to like it. Show some manners. Say hello while you walk in. You don't even say hi no more. Say hello. Leave a little comment. Maybe even a little suggestion for your brother, the anchor baby, so that he may improve. Leave a little comment. I read them all. Hope you've enjoyed the stream so far. Click the like button. What are you doing? We got a caller here. Thanks for calling 888-775-3773. You're on the air, your name, and where are you calling from?
Oh, it's Derek in Nashville.
What's up, Derek? Thanks for your call. Is this your first time on my show? No, you've called me before.
No, I don't think I have.
Never mind.
Maybe I...
Move on.
No.
But, thank you for calling me for the first time. Right on.
I dipped in. You were talking about people having issues with fried chicken. I'm like, who has issues with fried chicken? I don't know what came before that. Was there an issue with people having issues with fried chicken?
Dude, fried chicken, man. It's like even a fried poultry dish is surrounded in controversy. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Mired in controversy. You dare say a black person likes fried chicken, and it's like you're the biggest racist. You say, I'm messing around a little bit. But it is a little like side thought. It was a little segment on a side thought I had about anybody feeling like fried chicken is racist or otherwise. When literally every culture loves fried chicken, makes fried chicken, they all have their own recipe. I say we unite.
And it's closely guarded. They're not going to tell you the seasonings. They're not going to tell you how they do it. No, everyone in Tennessee likes fried chicken. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or Asian. Everyone likes fried chicken. Although I did hear you say, I think I came in right when you were saying the Scots are the true blacks.
Oh, you did?
Like, what? I was like, what? I was like, because I've got, like, I'm mostly English and Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, well, if that's the case, then are the blacks the true Jews? Is that how that works? I'm not.
Look, people try to convince me on that one. People try to convince me on the blacks being the true Jews. But I was thinking similar. I was feeling similar things when I was saying the Scots are the true blacks. But I think we have a little bit more evidence with the Scots. The Scots introduced fried chicken to America. Meanwhile,
I learned something new today. I was in danger of not learning anything new today.
Boom!
But
there you go.
Thank God I listened to the show here. I just dipped in. I was like, what is there controversy about? Like, everyone likes fried chicken. Everybody. I did date a vegetarian one time. That was a nightmare, but that's a story for another day.
They love fried chicken too. They just don't know it yet or forgot.
They just don't. They just don't know it yet. But anyway, just calling to say hello. Glad I could listen to your show this evening, sir.
Thank you, Derek, man. And call me again. Appreciate you tuning in.
You got it, sir.
888-775-3773. Yeah, I think we have a little bit more evidence for the Scots here. What's the evidence for the blacks being Jews, right? The black Hebrew Israelites. Jesus had wool hair, bronze skin, or something like that. And, some other stuff. Stuff like, I don't know, the 12 tribes and they're called Jewish, not Jews. So they're only ish. It's not I don't know. Someone maybe have to help me. I think some people have been trying to convince me over the years. But anyways. Check this out. I'm sure many of you by now have heard about the illegal gangs in America. Illegal, I mean, you got gangs. You already got, I guess that might be a little inaccurate because are all gangs illegal? Are all gangs illegal? Just merely making a gang illegal? I mean, once your group, your crew, your club starts acting different, doing different things, maybe you enter the territory of gang and you have no place in an illegal standpoint. That being said, I'm not just speaking about gangs. I'm talking about illegal immigrants who are part of gangs or come to America to join a gang comprised of said illegals and probably legals too. Let's be real. They talk about illegal gangs. The MS-13, Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua. Sorry. I'm an American anchor, baby. Tren de Aragua. Sorry, speak English to me. Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua. Okay. You hear about these gangs. They're full of elite. They probably got legals too. They probably got, legals. Born in America even maybe. But anyways, you may have heard the wild story of some of these gangs purportedly from Venezuela taking over whole apartment complexes or something like that. You heard it, right? You may have even heard some callers on the network call in with doubts that any such gang takeovers in America are happening. Those doubts, they're repeating the very same, if not just doubts, but outright lies and spinning of the truth and story and the facts that the media is putting out. And it centers around the whole story with the migrants, and that's just lies after lies. But even when we zero in on this story of the Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes, it's lies from the media, obfuscation, playing down, but you unpeel it all, and there is something happening, okay? So the reports were back in August. I'm sure you remember a little bit. Armed crew flaunts guns inside Colorado apartment building overrun by Venezuelan gang spilling out from Sanctuary City. And you maybe remember the scenes. You maybe remember these scenes of these armed people. It looks pretty crazy and caught by some of these ring cameras and stuff. Pretty wild stuff. Armed with pistols, rifles. And they're all, swarming this house, this apartment. And it goes around like this. The reports continue and go around. This was back in August, and this was in Aurora, Colorado. I'm sure you remember a little bit, maybe. And I see the calls coming in, 888-775-3773. Gonna get right to you as soon as we're done with this gang story real quick, okay? So appreciate the patience. We'll get to you.
The city nonprofits have lined up to help the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped in these apartment complexes.
And so those were some of the early reports. This was going back to August. And now you look at the news, you go around the news and stuff, and what do you see? You see people, you see the reporters, and you've heard some of the callers even on the network parrot some of these talking points from these reporters. And what are these reporters saying? They're not even saying, oh, well, it's not even happening. Oh, okay, fine, it's happening. But it's just the incidents were limited to a handful, okay? There were just a handful of apartments. And the cops already dealt with it, man. So there's no takeover happening. You mean the cops stopped the takeover finally after a bunch of media pressure, bunch of pressure online, etc. But yeah, that's here's this woman. Here's some woman. Her name is Raditz. Raditz? Her name is Raditz? What kind of Raditz? Kakarot. No, maybe it's spelled different. Martha Raditz. Watch this.
The incidents were limited to a...
J.D. Vance is in this clip too. Absolutely destroys liberal journalist.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Absolutely destroyed. J.D. Vance destroys. Hey, good job, J.D. Good job. Do you hear yourself, Martha Raditz? Her last name is Raditz. It's making me think of DBZ, okay? Are you confused? A handful. They're just limited to a handful. I mean, do I need to explain this? I don't need to explain that, right? The insane thinking. All to what? All to just go against the people saying the truth. But you can't say the truth. I don't like you. And because of that, I got to nitpick. I'm going to nitpick and take away from the main point that there's gangs taking over these. Yes, the cops got there involved. Finally, it was a good thing. But so I want to get to this, finish off with this report from a company called CBZ Management. Okay, they manage several properties in Aurora, Colorado. They're blowing the whistle, and they have an incredible thread here with some amazing, just horrible moments, I guess, with their experience and these gangs. I want to show this to you real quick for the naysayers. For those saying there's nothing happening, I want to play this for you. I want to show this thread to you real quick, and then it's right to calls. Thanks for the patience. 888-775-3773. So check it out. CBZ Management here on X writes, gangs have taken over control of several of our properties in Aurora, Colorado. In an attempt to discredit this fact for political purposes and avoid governmental accountability, some have spread false information about our situation. Let's set the record straight.
See if you can find that story on the Venezuelan gangs.
And they post this compilation to make their point better.
Taking over the apartment building in Colorado.
We have new information on what we've learned is happening inside an apartment complex. This video shows armed men walking through a building, knocking on doors, then entering an apartment. The apartment complex is at 12th and Dallas and Aurora.
In doing so, have taken over several apartment complexes.
Venezuelan gangs
are taking over the real estate. They're becoming real estate developers. And they have...
Do they get little cards?
Their little card is a book.
Okay, so yeah, that's, a little compilation, people talking about it. They go on, they say, we started managing these buildings when new owners acquired Colorado properties in 2019. At the time, the properties were in poor condition and our mission was to renovate them, thereby increasing their value. This was an ambitious project that would significantly benefit the people of Aurora while providing returns to the new owners. We understood this project would take years to yield results and would be both time-consuming and costly, involving comprehensive upgrades to every unit. To manage the project effectively, given our New York-based operations, our representative moved to Colorado with his family. We also undertook a complete renovation of nearly every unit in the now well-known building. Everything was progressing smoothly. Property values were rising. Vacancy rates were dropping. It was a win-win for both owners and the city of Aurora. They show some images. They're renovating. They're doing their thing. After some time, we noticed a rise in crime and tenant complaints. The most alarming moment occurred when our local CBZ representative was attacked at the end of 2023. He had gone to inspect a recently vacated three-bedroom apartment, a rare occurrence for such a large unit, only to find a group of men already inside. When he refused their $500 bribe to overlook the situation, they brutally attacked him. This photo was shortly taken after he escaped, just before being admitted to the hospital. The video footage comes from one of the security cameras capturing part of the assault. You can see he's bloody face, bloody shirt. This is the man allegedly attacked by this gang. The security footage just mentioned. Oh, but it's not happening, right? This is not happening. This is not happening at all. Let's finish this thread up real quick. After the attack on our CBZ representative, he began getting threatening text messages. We also frequently found people illegally occupying newly vacated apartments. When confronted, many of these illegal tenants and squatters claimed they had already paid rent, which we soon realized was true, but not to us. They were paying rent to a different entity. To address this entity, the gangs, we contacted every city official we could think of for help. Meanwhile, our representative continued receiving threatening messages. FBI Homeland Security informed us that those sending the messages and controlling our buildings were part of the notorious 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 gang from Venezuela. So they got comfort, allegedly, from FBI, that is the gang taking over. 2 days after our FBI meeting, the gang confronted our on-site manager, asserting control over these properties. For the safety of our team and their families, we withdrew them from the properties. Shall I continue? We're almost done here. Then we'll get right to calls here, 888-775-3773. What else here? Shall I continue here? Look.
Because of gangs. As far as what happens next, the city says unless the property owners remedy every single documented violation.
Once we fully understood what we were facing, we expected a swift response, with the city offering meaningful resources, perhaps even from National Guard. That never happened. Instead, we were left helpless, watching as violence, bullets, and destruction overtook our buildings. Despite the obvious crisis, several city officials refused to acknowledge the reality. Instead, they blamed us, citing code violations as the reason for shutting down our property.
Gangs. As far as what happens next, the city says unless the property owners remedy every single documented violation, the city will designate the building as unsafe due to its condition, not because of gangs.
You know that the only reason that is even being reported as news is because the city officials being talked about are not going to fix that. They are saying when they say, hey, fix your code violations. That's the problem. That's them saying we're not getting rid of these Venezuelans. They are here to stay. And part of this whole immigrant migration stuff, guess what? There are some, and we're aware of it. We're totally aware of this. But there are some costs, there are some sacrifices that have to be made. Not by us, though, but it has to be made by you, the people. There are some sacrifices that just have to be made. And that's what they're saying with that. They're saying that this is how it's going to go down and you don't get to say no. Ask us for anything other than getting rid of 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, because that's just not happening. Ask us something else. So anyways, that's the story. You can go in deeper on this, exactly what went down. But that's the story, okay? For those naysayers who think nothing is happening. Let me get to this caller. Thanks for your call, your name, and where you're calling from.
It's Frederick from LA. What's going on, Nick?
What's up, Frederick? Welcome. How you been?
I'm doing good.
Right on.
Hope you snowflakes are shaking in your boots over that story.
Who's shaking in their boots?
I don't know. I guess the snowflakes are supposed to. Is that supposed to be a scary story? Is that a scary story to y'all?
Wait, what is gangs taking
Venezuela.
over your neighborhood?
Yeah.
What? You're a tough guy? You're not scared? I'm not here telling people to be scared. I'm not telling people to be scared, but I am interested in knowing where you're coming at me from. Are you saying there's nothing to be afraid of? There's no danger at all, Frederick? Are you a tough guy?
I've seen autonomous zones in America be posted up. They took over neighborhoods. I've seen Bundy up there in the mountains, 150 armed men, Americans took over the BLM land. I mean,
what's your point?
A couple of days of some Venezuelans and the president's trying to scare Americans, and we got ships at the Taiwan border. I mean, what are you doing?
Right.
What are y'all really focused
Right.
on?
Don't you know? Yeah,
president is
American
gonna be
public. Don't you
better
know
at-
that there's full-on wars happening? Like, stop whining about some gang being let in by your city officials, and they won't do anything about it. And changing your neighborhood, changing where you live, your own apartment building.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
No. How about don't care about that?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
It's just a little immigration, man. Come on, quit crying about that. It's like when you
You're hearing yourself. You're hearing yourself.
It's like when you're sitting in the jail.
It's just a little immigration.
They let in a whole bunch of new. They let in a
If
whole
this
bunch
is
of
what
new
a little
immigrants.
immigration does, then I don't even want a little of it. But
I know you don't. I know you don't because you don't.
No. But Frederick, you're like ignoring what a little immigration is doing. Why are you why are you using a little immigration as euphemism for gangs taking over buildings
Because
and
you're
crime?
commenting on a little crime. That's what a little immigration is.
Look, he's going. Why do you feel the need to add a euphemism to this? Why are you unable to call it what it is? Why do you got to call it a little immigration? Why do you got to call it a little immigration? Is it because calling it what it is? Is it because calling it? Is it because calling it what it? Is it because calling it what it is too real?
Yeah. It's a little bit of
It's a little too real.
and a little
Let's
bit of
use
crime.
euphemisms. There he goes again. He keeps calling it lil.
It ain't nowhere close
How's
to
your little
nuclear
immigration? Hey, Frederick.
It ain't nowhere
how's
close to nuclear
Hey,
war.
Aurora, Colorado. How's your little immigration for you?
Exactly.
It's just a little immigration. What, you don't notice that you got to use euphemisms?
We never talk about a little bit of nukes, do we?
You notice you notice that you have to use euphemisms, or you have not noticed that?
What?
Did you notice that you have to use
I feel
euphemisms
like I
to
do.
describe
I feel
this?
I feel like I do. I feel like it helps the conversation.
No, but you notice how you can't speak about it clearly. You have to use euphemisms because even instinctually that is messed up. So you can't even call it what it is. You have to put all this under an umbrella term and say little immigration.
Look, if you call euphemism or whatever you're talking about, my perception, because the way I look at things and the way you look at things are two different things, different ways.
I'll make it clear. There is no way. There's no perception. There's no perception happening. There's no ways being talked about. What happened in this conversation was very, very clear. And let me lay it out for you and for the people who are not following, maybe a little slow. What happened in this conversation was very clear. There was a description of things that no reasonable person would ever be okay with, would have a fear of danger with, even you. And you're going to tell Frederick from LA is a tough guy who's totally fine. He's going to be totally fine with armed gangs taking over his area, his apartment. He's going to be totally fine with it. He's going to feel no fear. He's going to be fine with that. Apparently, is what he's saying.
Yeah,
but wait, hold on. I'm not done. I want to explain to the people because it's not ways of thinking. It's quite clear what happened. I described violent things happening that nobody would like, and you called it a little immigration, and what are people so mad about a little immigration? That's what happened in this conversation.
Yeah, they opportunists, weak cowards like the Venezuelan gangs. They didn't go to the black community. They went to where it was easy and safe to make victims. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a black neighborhood. That was just a little bit. That was just a couple Venezuelan punks taking the opportunity of some weak people. It's out here. You know what I'm saying? They run up on
Why
these
do you
Mexicans
look at every level of this conversation? You have to you're like the
I'm
media.
just saying,
You
it's
said,
bigger,
you
it's
said,
bigger.
listen to him. Listen, Chad, this is amazing.
We got bigger
Chad,
fish to
listen
fry.
to him. Listen to him. What did he say? He said it's a little immigration, and it's all just a little bit of guys who just took advantage of a couple of weak guys. Notice how at every level he's got to use euphemisms to downplay the whole thing. I mean,
because
everybody's
you're
hearing
being
you
a
do this,
time-
Frederick. What's your point? You've made no point. You've just
being a time
downplayed.
vampire.
All you're
You're
doing is
being a time
downplaying
vampire.
realities. What's your big point with all this?
This
Help me
story's a
understand.
time vampire. We at World War III. We talking about bigger stuff. Why are you worried about this
I talked
little
about
stuff
World
that
War
happened?
III yesterday. Go watch that episode. That's so annoying, man.
No.
What's wrong with you?
It's always
What's wrong with
escalation
you?
every day.
Frederick, what's
on
wrong
three
with you?
different fronts.
Why,
No, on three
Frederick? What's
different
wrong
fronts.
with you? Frederick? What's wrong with you? Why is there someone presents something to you that's happening, and you go, la la la, that's not happening, racism?
No, I
How did you
presented
get
this
this
to
way?
Hank. You're. This is like leftovers. I don't like leftovers, so I want to make your show fresh. And this is what I talked to Hank about right earlier. You using my call up on what I called in about already. You trying to back up.
What do you mean
Hank
use your
because
call up?
I
Wait, I'm not
cooked
following
him.
you.
I cooked Hank earlier, and you trying to back him up with some proof. This ain't how this gonna work.
Wait, what
This
about
show needs
Hank?
to be original.
You got to slow down. No one's following you, man. What are you saying? What are you saying?
I called Hank on this earlier.
And
You bring it back up, and we talking about it again. But
what's
I'm
your point with
saying
that?
It's small potatoes.
Make a
and you
point.
still
Make
talk
a
about
point,
small
Frederick.
potatoes.
You've had all this time to make a single point, and you've said nothing
I'm
but
saying
let
you're
me
fear-mongering
downplay.
on
Let me
something that's not
downplay.
scary.
Let me downplay.
You're
You spent this
fear-mongering.
whole call downplaying realities for what?
You're
We still don't know for
fear-mongering
what
on
reason.
something that's not
We still don't know
scary.
for what reason.
Is it going on today?
What's going on today?
What you're talking about? Why are we talking about this 3 weeks to election?
Because
and
people
World
don't
War
believe it's
III is
happening.
going on?
Because
This
people
is
don't
not-
believe it's
what?
because people are literally calling me and saying nothing is happening. It's just a little immigration. What are these people mad about? Like they're saying
Who's
some of
calling you saying this to you? I'm the first caller, right?
Yes, sir. I'm talking about you.
No, I didn't. No, you. Come on, Nick. We watching this in real time now.
Frederick, I'm going to give you a
Taiwan.
chance to think this through.
Taiwan's
Are you?
about to be
I'm going to give you a
We're
chance to
talking
catch
about
up.
some-
I'm going to give you a moment
I'm
of breath.
trying to
You can
ask-
think
I
a little
asked
and catch
Hank,
up. Here,
why
let's
was
have a moment
JD
of silence, and you can catch up mentally, and have a breath here. Catch up.
What?
Yeah, because we don't know what you're saying. We have no clue what you're saying.
Caught up like Trump in these talking circles.
What'd you say?
Like they get caught up in these, they're eating cats or they taking. It's like they worrying about the small stuff, fear mongering. Like right before, is that all they really?
Who's
got
worried?
to
What are you
make y'all
talking about?
talk about?
Who's worried?
Vance and Trump.
Who's worried though? You're saying worried. What are you talking about? Worried and fears. Who's
I
doing
said
this?
they are worried if they bringing up
Who's
small
talking-
topics like this.
But who's talking
What?
about worries and fears? J.D. Vance was asked a
You.
question in that interview. What do you mean bringing up small
Yes,
topics?
he's asking questions.
You
like,
want to
why
call
are
it a small topic? Here's another thing,
Yes,
folks.
that's
He's
the
like,
media and the
remember in
mayor
his
is saying
euphemisms.
the opposite.
Remember, folks, in his euphemisms, he's like, it was just a little bit of immigration, and they just took over advantage. It's like when
Nick,
you
play what the
peel it
mayor
when you
said.
peel it back the reality is
Play the whole story of what the mayor said.
yeah. When we
Play
peel
the
it back,
whole
when we
story.
peel it back, the reality is the little
We
things
haven't heard from
going
the mayor.
on. The little things going on is your own city
Right.
officials, your own city
We haven't
officials,
heard from the
your
mayor
own
and
city
your little
officials
terrorism
refusing to deal with crime because that's just the way it is.
They're not refusing to deal with
But
crime.
he's calling it a little thing. He's calling
He's
calling it this little thing. What did the mayor say? What does that matter?
It is little because you're not reporting on what the mayor
Who
said.
cares?
And how long it quit and how long it got wrapped up. You're still promoting on what they did.
Listen
but
to
not how
yourself.
long it was
Listen
a
to
small
yourself.
Story.
Listen to yourself.
Why are you talking about this in October?
Illegal gangs only took over
over
apartment buildings
30
for a
days,
little bit of time. You're just repeating
September,
media. You're
a
like
whole month
Raditz.
between
You're like
August
Martha
and
Raditz.
October.
You're like Martha
Nick,
Raditz. You're like
Nick.
Martha Raditz repeating.
Calm down.
You're like Martha
you
Raditz.
sound like William.
You're like
You
Martha
sound like William
Raditz.
talking to Mays.
No, you're like
You sound
Martha
like William
Raditz.
talking to Mays.
You're like Martha Raditz, sitting there, saying, "J.D. Vance, they've only been taken over for a little bit of time." So what? Do I now get to do the J.D. Vance thing to you? Because it was already done. We already saw the clip, Frederick. We already saw the clip. So I guess maybe you didn't see the clip. So this is the part where I say, Frederick, do you hear yourself? Gangs only took over buildings in America for a little while. allowed in by your own government. City officials don't care. After only media attention, finally did the cops do something? Do something that they refuse to do in so many parts of America? You know, they put in 2,000 Haitians in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. You know what their population was before that? Like 4,000 or something. So every other person is now a Haitian. So anyways, so Frederick, say something new. Say something new. Don't just like repeat the same old thing. Say something new.
Fear-mongering ain't working. They ain't even scared. You ain't even
Who's fear-mongering? Who's fear-mongering?
That little fear-mongering like, oh, everybody's almost Haitian now. The Haitians moved in. White flight run. Be scared, America.
I said none of those things. I just said that every other Haitian. When you had 2,000, say something new.
Look, Nick.
Come on, say something.
Down.
Say something new and fresh.
Down.
Come on.
Calm down. All right.
No, we're calm. We're calm.
You got your mama coming.
No. Stop doing the mama thing, Frederick. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say something new. Don't do that, Frederick. This is my show. Say something new. Go. Say something new and fresh and
Mama
thoughtful.
President's coming in 3 weeks, and she's gonna give you a nipple and pacify you.
Oh.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Mama's
He's just
coming.
saying things.
No, Mama President's
I guess
gonna Trump.
I guess we could just say things.
I'm taking all bets in the chat. Anybody want to bet on the presidency?
Do that somewhere else. Do that somewhere else. Don't do that here. Go do that somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that here.
Okay.
Don't be rude.
It was just for fun, though. They probably ain't gonna pay me if they lose. If they do win, you know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about them.
Look how worried. Look how scared and worried Frederick is. He calls every show. He's like, I'm betting and I'm wishing and wanting. Guys,
I'm waiting on this.
I don't know about you guys, folks. I don't know about you guys, folks, but I'm not worried about an election. I'm not worried about Kamala Harris being a president. Like, it's obviously the worst. It's obviously the worst decision. It's obviously a horrible direction. A woman president. I mean, that's enough reason right there. You don't elect a woman to lead anything. What kind of man elects a woman to lead anything? So, that being said, bad direction, sure, but afraid? No. Afraid? No. Should I've been telling people, should Trump lose, you can't get angry. You can't lose your minds. And it's not over. I mean, it's over for America. It's been over in maybe other ways, but politically speaking, in the short term, there is a long term beyond 2024. I've been saying that, so I don't know why you're so afraid, Frederick, that you're like, you got to be like, oh my God, I'm going to take bets. Oh, I can't wait to see who wins. I can't wait to get this election over with. Honestly, you got to be of the world and not of it, man. You got to overcome all that stuff.
I got to wait and see attitude, man. He ain't my president. I'm just waiting on Project 2025.
Wait and see attitude.
To get, yeah. I'm waiting to see that Project 2025 book get tossed in the
You don't know a single thing about wait and see attitude. You're waiting and hoping for one way. You're waiting and hoping for one reality. And I wonder.
No.
I'm just worried for you, Frederick. I'm wondering how you're going to handle it. Should it not go your way?
I'm untouchable. Don't work.
You're saying it's God's plan.
Nobody.
I wonder how Frederick's going to handle it if God's plan,
boss.
what he says, God's plan doesn't come true. Because I'm not.
I'm my own boss, regardless.
Right on, man.
Nobody.
Right on, man.
Regardless of the president, they do not have nothing to do with me.
Well,
no government controls what I do.
Nice,
I'm
man.
Government free.
What are you going to do if God's plan, as you call it, doesn't come true? Is it still going to be God's plan?
No, everything God planned comes
But let's
true.
say it doesn't come true the way you say God's plan is going to come true.
Oh, yeah.
Is it still going to be God's plan? You're still going to call it God's plan?
Yeah, you always look for the silver lining. That's what life's about. Never always try to fearmonger.
Oh, so now God's plan is a silver lining all of a sudden. Before everything that's happening, before everything that's happening is God's plan. But now, when asked, should it not go the way you think? Well, it's God's plan. You got to look for the silver. Oh, so now it's now God's plan is just a silver lining. Well, Frederick, I wish you well with all that, sir.
3 on Trump.
Hey, nobody heard that. Nobody heard that, Frederick. Hey, last thing you want to say before we move the wheels?
No. If they didn't hear that, did you want me to repeat it or you didn't want me to say it? I didn't. I was confused.
No, yeah, say what you were saying. Last thing you want to say. Go ahead.
Oh, I said that might be the silver lining might be putting the blame of World War III and we lose on Trump. I don't know. It might be ugly. It might be God's plan.
You don't know anything about that.
But you got to look for the silver lining.
You don't know anything about that.
You don't know. That's what I said.
I didn't say I know, but
you.
you're acting like you know. You don't know.
No, I said keep your eyes open and look. You don't know nothing about that.
You don't know.
All right.
You don't know.
Take it easy.
All right.
Hey, not knowing is half the battle.
You're ridiculous. Thanks, Frederick. Call me again.
Yeah. All right.
888-775-3773. You gotta have a little spice with your fried chicken, okay? Keep the show rolling here. You could call me about anything. Keep the show rolling here. Let's see here. Lin Yan Chin, thank you so much. Let's see, what are you talking about here? What's your super chats? Appreciate that. Lin Yan Chin says, in essence, I was alluding to Hold up. In essence, Lin Yan Chin writes, I was alluding to visualization plus breath control, emulating and exercise accurately enough to make physical change to your body's condition. Like a hyperbolic time chamber. Silent prayer plus. So if you, through the process of visualizing yourself a certain way and working out physically towards that, you will change your gene, tweak your gene expression. That's according to Lin Yan Chin. Hey, I don't know if, you want to go find out for yourself? Start training. What are you doing? You don't train? You don't even train? Come on. How are you going to know if what Lin Yan Chin is saying is true or not if you don't even train? Thank you, Terry Strange, with the super chat says, smash the smash the MF and like button, okay, folks? Don't be rude. Show some decorum, okay? You came in here. You're enjoying the show. You're getting a thrill at least. Click the like button. What are you doing? Don't be rude. Yeah, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. Silent prayer. You want to be doing that. Okay. NIT dropping to 90 via overworking on Frederick, LA. You think so? You think so, Lin Yan Chin? He overclocked me, man. He overclocked me. Whatever. Maybe I got sucked there. Okay, I'm sorry. Where were we? Let's see here. What's next? Thank you, Old Saucy. Appreciate that. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Okay. And that's everything. Thank you. Buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby if you would like to support that way. But where was we? Where was we? Bada bing. We're going to leave this for another day. Let's just move on from that. I was just going to mention like Columbus. We're talking about immigration and stuff. I'm just seeing all these people that putting up their middle finger to Columbus and it's Indigenous People Day. They're still on that stuff. So we'll move on from all that, though. We'll move on from all that. Look, speaking of being confronted with a uncomfortable reality that may change the way you think, Anna Kasparian, the Young Turks producer, according to Colin Rugg, says she left the Democratic Party after she was molested by a homeless man in Los Angeles.
In 2022, it was around March. I was walking my dog. It was not quite dark yet, but the sun was setting. As I'm walking my dog, I see these two guys that were just kind of like moving around weirdly. They seemed kind of manic and their clothes were tattered. So I knew that they were probably homeless. And I also knew that they're probably on something just based on like the twitchy way they were acting. But living in LA, there's homeless people everywhere.
Oh, this is old? How old is this? Is this an old clip? October? Are you saying old as in this is even older than October 12th?
Right? So I've never had problems. I didn't think anything of it. But as I was bending down to pick up my dog's mess, one of the guys like grabs me by my hips, and he had an erection. Oh God. And just starts like humping me. And I didn't know what to do.
Elect.
Like I was terrified. I didn't have a weapon on me.
Yep.
Like I had no way of defending myself. I didn't know how far it was going to go because it's two guys. I'm by myself with my little dog. It was one of the most terrifying things ever because I'm pretty good at defending myself. In that moment, I just knew there was no option.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily, he stopped, and they just laughed at me and walked away as they were laughing at me. And so there was the fear and
Anyways,
it was awful.
Why was I playing this? Look, you get it. Being confronted with realities. I'm sure that's happening all sorts of places in America, not just Aurora, Colorado. Will, Anna 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍�, whatever. Keeping it real, they say. I know she got a lot of backlash for this, though. Kevin Howe saying they called her racist. I don't remember hearing her speak about race in this clip at all. Racist. It's racist what she's saying. But I know that people were criticizing her because of for speaking like that about the homeless. Being anti-homeless. What were they saying? Where was that? When she shared her story, liberals accused her of painting a wrongful picture of the homeless community, with some people calling her racist, even though she didn't say what race the man was. There you go. That woke me up, 𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍 said. People that I've associated myself with because I thought they were the good people have stereotypes in their head and are totally blind to the fact that they have those stereotypes and go around accusing others of being bad actors. Well, anyways, Jesse was saying the other day, homeless people are some of the most, I forget exactly how he put it, but some of the most evil people. Some of the most rotten, evil people, selfish. I remember I've said this before, but a society that I'm about to use a word. I'm about to use an English word that do I know what this means? Venerates. Yes. To regard with great respect. A society that venerates the so-called least of us, those who are the most downtrodden, the poorest, the most mentally ill, criminal. Maybe I don't even know if they include those people there, but mentally ill, sick, the most marginalized. When you venerate all those people and make them above everybody else, when you say they require more respect and care and anything, you put them on a pedestal because of their position. When you venerate the so-called least of us, you now create a society that rewards the criminals. You turn society upside down because now you got to reward the criminals. You got to punish the lawful. When you have a society that feels bad for the homeless and makes them the most venerated, with the black, LGBT, when you venerate, maybe I don't mean the blacks, right? I'm not really talking about them here. The least of us. I'm just talking about like the way homeless, broken down, downtrodden people, when you feel the worst, when you feel bad for them and you venerate them, you're actually making the worst parts of us, of our society, of people, and you're actually venerating those things. You're venerating criminality, low animalistic thinking, selfishness, hate. You're making all those things special and above others in a society, okay? Upside down and all that, you get it. Yes, you get it. Okay, I got a story for you I want to get into. adjudicated sexual assaulters, these days. It's like there's some people in the world who are considered adjudicated sexual assaulters. Before a court of law, they were proven to be this sexual assaulter. Not, okay, I want to get it. Maybe if we have time after this call, we might have to leave it for tomorrow. A lot of people put a lot of stock in someone being an adjudicated grapist. I want to tell you how that's ridiculous, maybe. But I'm getting a call here. I want to see what they want to talk about. What's up, caller? Your name and where are you calling from?
It's Brian, and I'm calling from North Carolina.
Welcome,
How
Brian.
are you?
All is well, sir. Appreciate your call.
Nice. Thank you. So does adjudicated mean the person is assumed to be guilty before they're found guilty?
It means a formal judgment or decision. In most cases, the formal judgment was done by a judge.
Okay, I don't really know what it means.
A formal judgment to be adjudicated. So it's like you can make a claim that Donald Trump is. You can make all sorts of claims about him, but some people say, well, you can say that he is an adjudicated sexual assaulter because before a jury,
because it was something a judge determined.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so he's not just he's not alleged. It's not an allegation. No, Trump is an adjudicated sexual assaulter.
Yeah, we hear this all the time. People try to call him a felon all the time.
Yep. I mean, it makes it sound pretty fancy and like it has a lot of weight, like it's real serious and definite.
It does. Another title.
Yep.
But that's not why I called in. I didn't know what that word meant, so I was trying to clear that up.
Yeah, no problem.
I called in. You were talking earlier. I missed a lot of the show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. But earlier I called in. I had to get off the phone. But you were talking about something beforehand, and then you started talking about the Boondocks. And it's funny because I was gonna call you before that and mention how the Boondocks had an episode where there was two groups of black people in an auditorium, and they're like disagreeing about something, and you can see them yelling, and all of a sudden somebody just randomly throws a chair.
The chair.
And it lands in the middle of the room, and then somebody goes, "I'm mad now.
I'm mad." That's one of the best. I'm mad. Throws a dude. That's one of the best scenes. Yeah, that's how you get a room of black people mad. I forget if that's part of the meme, if it's just black or if it's just all people. But when the steel chair effect, they call it the steel chair. You throw a steel chair,
right.
It's not even hitting anybody, and now you got a riot.
Right.
The steel chair effect.
That was just
I'm mad.
I don't know. Right. Well, when you played the clip of the creator showing that,
yes.
it made me think about like how that was actually a really good example and display of how easily it is to control black people to get violent.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like Aaron McGruder is trying to make that point constantly in the Boondocks and even otherwise in person even. But he has such good characters in his show. But big time, man, big time. I feel like he's kind of like constantly trying to through Huey as well, trying to express that fatigue and that how he wants a sort of look at yourselves moment with black people. Yeah. There's a whole thing on Boondocks about, they call it an N-word moment.
That's right.
You remember that? And at any point can an N-word moment happen. And should it happen, you want to, and here Huey in the show, he's trying to inform the public, he's trying to inform you, should you find yourself in the vicinity of one of these N-word moments, please get out of there. Because shooting may ensue.
That's so true. I totally forgot about how they broke the whole situation of that down. Very well.
Yeah.
And also, you just reminded me, it also did a good job of displaying how Huey has the people that are closest to him that he loves, and he knows that he can't change, even though he sees things much clearer than they do.
Yes, I actually really like that. He's constantly with this internal struggle of trying to make people see his people, right? His people, make black people see, but also trying to advocate for them and trying to advocate for them, etc. And whatever you could judge that to say that that's wrong, but there is like a correct way. There is a correct way of advocating for yourself, your crew, your people, whatever. There's seemingly I think a correct way, but anyway, yeah, Huey's a great character for that reason.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. Well, that's all I call for, Nick.
Yeah, man, thanks, appreciate that.
Good to hear from you.
Always, sir.
Wish you well.
Call me again, Brian.
Yes, sir. Bye bye.
888-775-3773. I'm mad. Shall we watch this? We run the risk of maybe a swear, maybe a cuss word in the last few minutes of the show. Okay, we don't have time to get into anything else. Let's just do this a little bit. Then I'm going to say bye here in a minute or two. Okay? Appreciate all the support and calls and everything so far. Thank you very much. Nick, it's too salacious. No, wait. I think this clip isn't too salacious. If I remember, this one's not too bad, okay? It is the Boondocks. There's adult themes and adult words. But the steel chair effect just mentioned by Brian, let's take a chance.
That wasn't even worth it, man.
I think a bunch of N-words are coming up, okay? Just being straight up with you. This is the Boondocks.
That wasn't even worth it, man. I had my fingers crossed. You owe me money, man. Give me my money back. I want my money now. Give me my damn money, kid.
Oh my God, it's Cher!
I'm mad, man.
Oh my God, a chair! The white. I don't even know if that's like white girl voice. Oh my God, a chair! This is Riley remembering what he learned about steel chairs. He's having a moment where he's being confronted by this crowd who, if I remember correctly, he scammed them out of like tickets of some to see some fight or something like that. He was basically a little promoter, got a bunch of money from the people. The people didn't get what they wanted, and now they're mad at Riley here, I believe. And so to get out of this, he has this moment, he has a flashback, remembering the effect that the steel chair has on the public.
Oh my God, it's Cher!
I'm mad, man.
Should we do N-word moment? Maybe we shouldn't. That one's a little too much, right? That was a little too much. Yeah, you guys just go check out the Boondocks, okay? We love the Boondocks, right? The savagery of the Negro, foist in the wild. No, that's horrible. That's horrible. What's with the wild? I'm adding way too much on my Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus, you know Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus, character in the Boondocks. He's a, what do they call it? He's a coon or something, right? That's what they call him. Yeah, well. There goes the white man. Now, are you trying? I can't do Uncle Ruckus. I'm trying. Reverse vitiligo. I found out I was a white man growing up. But I can't, I'm working on it. I'm working on the Uncle Ruckus, okay? His Uncle Ruckus sounds like a dumb mafia sidekick. Yeah. See, with the wild, that's just too much. First, let me tell you something about the white man. Okay? That voice, I'm scared. It's Uncle Ruckus, okay? We love Uncle Ruckus, okay? He's a funny. Played by Gary, what's that guy's name? Gary Anthony Williams. Gary Anthony Williams. You know him. You may have seen his face. He's a lot slimmer. How'd you do it? Oh, Gary Anthony Williams. Very slim down. Very nice. Good job. You know, fat's a killer. You don't want to be big. You don't want to be big, you know. It's shaves off years of your life. You know, it's not a good thing. Uncle Ruckus, Gary Anthony Williams, looking pretty slim. How did he do it? Whoa. What's your secret, sir? Impressive. I mean, look. It's like he was like trapped inside of a fat body. Look at him. Incredible. Congratulations, sir. Very good. You know, seeing him slim down, it makes me think of the Luther burger. John Witherspoon.
I present to you the Luther, a full-pound burger patty covered in cheese, grilled onion, 5 strips of bacon.
You know what? No. Uncle Ruckus meets Martin Luther King. How about that one for a clip? How about this for a clip? Uncle Ruckus, and then I'm gone, okay? I'm just wasting time now. I appreciate you being with me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Uncle Ruckus meets Martin Luther King.
I'm staying at a Holiday Inn Express. I feel smarter already.
Oh, that's nonsense. Yeah, boycotting baboon! Dance there, you goddamn chunky cheek monkey! What the hell is wrong with you?
Chunky cheek monkey. This here's between me and Martin Luther, so-called king. Only king I know is Elvis Presley. God rest his soul. Oh, you don't remember me? Well, I've been throwing bricks at your marching ass since 1959.
And so, brothers and sisters, you know
Hey, shut the hell up, you black son bitch.
Oh,
What's
no.
wrong with y'all?
Sorry, folks.
Thank God for the white man's infinite mercy, Martin Luther King. Because if it was up to me, I'd unleash the hound and turn y'all niggas into puppet chop.
Okay, like we're done. All right, thank you, Uncle Ruckus. That's the show, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. That's it from me. Thanks all the calls and super chatters. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Manhood Hour on the JLP Show, the Bond Network, and American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. All right, y'all. Take care. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Thank you.